This is how to make whiskey pecan steam pudding and mint julep ice cream. Simple syrup is equal parts sugar and water and a common base for any flavor we want to infuse into it. Simply heat up a tea kettle and when it boils, pour 50 grams of hot water over 50 grams of sugar and stir. Allow the mixture to cool. To make peppermint syrup, bring a pot of water to a boil and blanch 45 grams of mint leaves and 5 grams of spinach leaves for 10 seconds. Immediately transfer the leaves to an ice bath to cool down completely. The spinach adds extra chlorophyll, which creates a nice green color. If you do not blanch the leaves first, the syrup will oxidize and become not very appetizing within a few hours. Squeeze out the water and add the leaves to a wet-dry spice mill or small food processor. Add the simple syrup and blend until smooth. Strain through a fine mesh sieve into a mason jar until ready to use. Stored covered in the refrigerator, mint syrup will be at its best for about 3 days. To make mint julep ice cream, scale 4 large egg yolks, 50 grams mint syrup, 20 grams cane sugar, 15 milliliters of Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey, 200 grams high-fat cream, and 200 grams whole milk into a mixing bowl. Quickly whisk to break up the egg and transfer the mixture to a Ziploc freezer bag. I like to drape the bag in a wide-mouthed mason jar and use a jar filling funnel to make it easier to fill the bag. Remove the excess air from the freezer bag and make sure the seal is closed. I like to cook custard sous-vide style because there is less of a chance to curdle the eggs. I used an immersion circulator to heat a water bath to 85 degrees Celsius and added the freezer bag to the water bath. I fastened the closing end of the bag over the edge of the water bath and set a timer for 1 hour. I transferred the cooked custard to an ice bath to cool down before adding the bag to the refrigerator to mature overnight. Allowing the custard to rest overnight thickens the custard and allows the dairy, egg, and mint to develop their flavors together. I always make the custard a day before I use it. However, a few hours at refrigerator temperature will help if I'm in a hurry. Pouring a warm custard into an ice cream machine creates a strangely textured ice cream that becomes icy instead of smooth and creamy. Chill down the bowl of an ice cream machine and strain the custard through a fine mesh sieve to make the custard silky smooth. When the bowl of the ice cream machine looks frosty, turn on the paddles and add the custard. The ice cream is ready when it is coming away from the sides of the bowl and looks like soft serve ice cream. Pack the ice cream into 125 milliliter mason jars with tightly fitted lids and place the jars in the freezer to harden. Scale 60 grams of pecans into a frying pan and roast the nuts for 5 minutes to help them release their oil. In a small mixing bowl, scale 60 grams of butter and let the butter warm to room temperature. This makes the butter easier to mix. Add 60 grams of brown sugar to the bowl. Scale 60 grams stone ground whole wheat flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a little Himalayan salt into a small jar and set the jar aside. Chop up the pecans and cream them into the butter. Add 15 milliliters of Jack Daniel's or a similar premium type whiskey, an egg, and mix them in. Add the dry ingredients slowly in 2 or 3 additions, allowing the flour mixture to be absorbed into the wet ingredients. Using freshly stone ground whole wheat cake flour adds a lot of flavors and a denser texture to the pudding. Puddings like this have been made for centuries in steam pudding tins, but mason jars are better because the lids create an airtight seal and the jars are ideal storage containers. Divide the mixture between 3 125 milliliter mason jars and seal the jars with canning jar lids. To cook the puddings using the sous vide method, check to make sure the lids are on tight and place them in a water bath heated to 85 degrees Celsius and set a timer for 1 hour. An immersion circulator is a useful tool in sous vide style cooking. It is a water heater that rotates the water as it heats it to create an accurate temperature for long periods of time. Jar lifting tongs are a good investment if you do a lot of canning. Allow the jars to cool, or at least until they are cool enough to handle. Steamed puddings are best served warm. If you sanitize the jars and the jars are left sealed in the refrigerator, the puddings will have a long shelf life. To make vanilla Chantilly whipped cream, add a few tablespoons of cream to a mixing bowl and sprinkle the cream with a little vanilla powdered sugar. Powdered sugar gets absorbed into the cream faster. Put a folded towel under the mixing bowl to help hold the bowl in place as you whip air into the cream. Put a generous dollop of vanilla Chantilly cream in the center of the plate to help stand the pudding upright, and then unmold the pudding. Take a little peeling knife and run it along the edge of the pudding to help release it. Put your fingers over the opening of the jar and shake the jar to release the pudding into your hand. Whiskey, pecan, and mint flavors work well together, so add a little mint syrup over top of the pudding and let it flow onto the plate. Take the mint julep ice cream out of the freezer about 15 minutes before it is to be consumed. Add a scoop on top and let it melt into the pudding. Ice cream tastes best as it is melting, so an ideal serving temperature is somewhere around -10 degrees Celsius. The warm whiskey pecan pudding and mint julep ice cream all melt together to make that truly homemade experience.